Folks, welcome back to the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast. I'm your host, CL the Source. Thank you once again for tuning in. And today, I got a fun one for y'all. I got an extra special guest. This chick is super dope, yo. I mean, prior to recording this podcast, I listened to a few more of her most recent episodes of her podcast. She's also a podcaster, which is actually doing very well. How many countries is it ranked in now, Joe?
Oh, now it's in 10.
Ooh, okay. Numbers. Okay. I see you.
Going up.
I see you. You inspire me, girl. I see you.
We're connected. We're connected.
Absolutely. So today I have with me the creator, owner, and podcast host of Where Are Joe and the Curls. Her name is Josiely Reyes, all the way from New York. How you doing, Joe?
So excited to be here. I truly loved connecting with you for my podcast. So I just know that this is going to be another fire one.
Absolutely. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. Thank you for being here because I know we've been trying to make this work for a while, but the universe has finally put it all together and I'm grateful.
Yes.
So how you doing on a mental health check? 1 to 10. Give us a little update on how you doing.
I just want to say an 8 because I feel like we can always do better. There's always room for improvement. There's always something that can be done, but I feel great. I am at my peak right now.
I love that. And, I'm sure throughout this discussion, we'll kind of get into how you're maintaining that kind of high vibration. You know what I'm saying? You'll probably share some of the things that you do for yourself to kind of keep yourself at that higher frequency, right? Yeah. So that's dope. I know you recently had some family in town, right?
Yes. And they just left. So now I've been getting my space back and getting my peace. Because it's different when you're surrounded by so much people all the time.
Yeah. What part of New York are you in right now?
Manhattan, uptown Manhattan, Washington Heights, Dykeman. So if you hear music, a loud neighbor, this is what we do. Dominicans are always loud. Oh
man, I love it. I know even on your podcast, the way you open it up is just so energetic. It's like, hey guys, how you doing? I love it. I'm like, man, she waking me up in the morning for real.
Ready to go. Yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
That energy to your space.
Oh yeah, we need that. All of that, please. So I was thinking about New York actually recently because I don't know if I mentioned to you, but I'm setting out on a journey to kind of make traveling my lifestyle similar to like what you've been doing, right?
Yeah.
And New York, I've been there like 2 times. Manhattan's actually one of my favorite places in that area. It's so amazing.
I was going to say, do you not travel? Because if you say New York is on your top 5.
Nah, it ain't on top 5.
Okay, good.
I'll tell you that much. Like I like it over there, but I'm from San Francisco. So I'm kind of used to that whole on the grid type of lifestyle where you're just like in that concrete jungle. So which is one of the biggest reasons why I got my ass out here to Hawaii.
Yes.
And honestly, it's been one of the best decisions I've made in my life. I know you've been doing a lot of traveling. You went to Thailand fairly recently, right?
Yes, Thailand was my last trip. Oof. And if you haven't done so, you need to make Thailand a priority. You literally get everything in one, whether that's you want to party, you want to be spiritual, you want to connect to your higher self, you want to connect to others, you want to try great food. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about this. But Thailand literally has it all. And I went by myself. And it was by far one of the best things that I could have ever done because that's when I truly connected to myself. And I knew if I can take on Thailand, I can take on anything. So
wow, that's incredible. What inspired you to first go to Thailand and then, secondly, go on your own? Because that takes a lot of like courage to do that, especially in a foreign country.
Yes. So it was so much more of a calling. Like I just felt like it's Thailand and you need to do it alone. And I kept hearing that. And I'm like, questioning the universe, like, are you sure you're going to send me 25 hours away from home to a country where I don't speak the language? And the universe was like, yes. And I think all my life up until that moment, I was getting prepared for it. So all the excuses that I gave myself before as why I couldn't suddenly vanished when I thought of Thailand. And I just felt like this is it. This is the chance. Let's do it. So I went with it. And I'm so glad that I got to experience that.
How long were you out there for?
For 2 weeks.
Ooh, that's amazing.
Yes. And I not once felt alone. I always was either in company, meeting people, or just like my own presence. I felt like I'm like, this is a party of two, literally, and it's just one. But
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna be like, you're never alone because you're with yourself, right? Like you're
yes,
learning a lot about yourself,
yes.
right?
And it's the best company you can have. And I
Mm,
always tell people like who are afraid to just even do something as like sitting at a bar or restaurant. It's like find out why you're running away from sitting by yourself. Because I used to be like that. But it was more so that I learned to discover that I was running away from my thoughts. So I occupied my time and space with people and doing things just to avoid just having minor conversations with myself. And when I began doing the work, that's when I realized, no, like I love my own company. So I'm like, yeah, let's just go.
I can relate to that on so many levels because I, for the longest time, identified as like an overthinker. So I would like actually just think of the worst case scenarios, and I didn't want to be alone with my thoughts. I didn't know how to sort out my thoughts. I used to think that my thoughts were who I was, right? And I was like, and then you come to find out like that work that you reference, right? That inner work that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Once you kind of start to do that, you realize you're like, dude, you're not your thoughts. Thoughts come and go. They pass
Yeah.
all the time. So it's like you don't have to believe what your mind's telling you. You're actually in control of that.
And you shouldn't believe it because the more that you believe something, the more that it becomes real.
Mm,
And I feel like we all go through this where we're scared to just face our own selves because, we are the harshest critic. We are the biggest enemy
mm-hmm.
because of the thoughts that we think. And I have this powerful quote that I read from Untethered Soul, the book.
Mm.
And it says, like, if you had a friend that spoke to you the way that you speak to yourself, would you really be friends with this person? And we wouldn't. Because we tell ourselves the nastiest, most rudest comments ever. And it's insane. It's like you wouldn't handle yourself as a friend. So why do you do that to yourself?
For real, golly, yo, that just hit me like a ton of bricks right now because that very much coincides with something that I've been I've been studying a lot of Joe Dispenza lately, which I'm sure you know Joe Dispenza.
Yes, and you're the second person that tells me about him this week, so I have to pick it up. It's a sign.
Absolutely, absolutely. And he always talks about what you want in a perfect or whatever, like a perfect partner, like everything you want, list that and be that. And it's just like, dude, do you even like yourself? Would you date yourself?
Yeah, that's true.
And if the answer is no, like you got some work to do for real.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you can attract like the best partner for you. And if that's what you're looking for, of course, right?
Of course. But can I tell you something? Like what I've noticed too is that if I were to ask you, do you love yourself? The answer is going to be, of course. We all say, yes, we love ourselves. But do we really? Are we willing to put in that work as much as we do to a 9-to-5 job, as much as we give into like our family, our friends? We really don't give much back to ourselves. And it's like, yes, with the list, people often require so much more of others, but they don't require that much more of themselves. When you start doing that inner work that you talk about, you're like, wait, I never really loved myself. At least the inner parts. I love the outskirts of it, but do you really love yourself enough to like put in that work? And not a lot of people do. So
I think you're absolutely right, because I came to that realization not that long ago, Joe, where you're right. If you were to ask anybody, they're probably going to be like, 10 times out of 10, do you love yourself? Yeah, of course I love myself. Of course. They probably haven't even thought of that question, to be real.
And you put yourself through shit.
Yeah.
You make yourself cry. You make yourself feel useless.
You abuse yourself.
Yes. You abuse on things to make yourself feel good just for the moment. You go down the wrong path. You allow certain things, certain energies into your life. You don't really love yourself.
True self-love, what I've started to realize is treating yourself like someone that you actually do love. Yeah. Right? Like you would never want your grandmother to drink as much as you did, or do as many drugs as you do, or eat all that bad food, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you don't really get to that realization until you kind of do some deep inner reflection work, like introspection, right? Yeah. And so that's actually a great segue.
And that's the point that we're talking about, that not a lot of people want to get deep in. They want to just be on the surface level.
They'll do anything. And look, no judgments passed on my part, because for the longest time, I was doing anything to distract myself from myself, to do that work. Yeah. And when I finally did, it was probably like the hardest thing to do, to turn within myself and face my demons and clean, the skeletons out of my closet. Right. And it's a lifelong journey. It's a process. But once you start to make headway and you start to gain momentum, you start to feel the benefits of it.
Yeah.
You could tell, right? Like I know you're on that path yourself.
Yes.
So I know you can agree with that.
And just when you think you found it, you made sense of things, life just goes and smacks you again. And you're like, okay, there's still much work to do, which is why I gave myself an 8, because I feel like there's always something to be done, something new to learn, something to unlearn. So it's just a life. It just goes on.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, even that itself could sound like so daunting. It's like, oh, why would I want to begin doing that? Like I'm comfortable in this prison that I've kind of put myself in, right? But at the same time, it's like, if you don't do that, eventually life is going to force you to kind of face yourself at some point, and you won't be ready for that. Right. So
I would hope. Like, I think I've mentioned this in my podcast too, that it's like, there's a lot of people walking around angry, 40, 50, 60-year-olds that never got in touch with their inner selves because of ego or whatever the case is, you know, or you just walk around not knowing. And when you walk around not knowing, you walk around hurt and hurting other people. So you're only as free as your subconscious mind allows you to be. But because you have to bring up that awareness, something has to snap in you. Like you said, no judgment, because we're all at different paces, you know. We all learn at different times, but it's the importance of showing people and telling people, like, if I can get myself out of this mental stress and, you know, this negativity, then so can you. But you have to be putting in the work. Because like, I can tell you, like, yeah, you're just fighting yourself. Like, it's just you and your thoughts. Like, you can get out of it. But if you really want to get out of it, you have to just break free from that for yourself.
Agreed 100%. So that's actually honestly a great segue into kind of how I want to ask you where that turning point was for you. And like, if you could provide a little bit of a background, like before leading up to that turning point where you just decided, I want to seek personal development and be my best self and learn to truly love myself. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
If I get emotional and start crying, it's because of you, because that question was deep and it touched me. So I wasn't looking, I know this is going to sound weird, I wasn't looking for what I got. So I always read books. I was traveling. I was saying that I wanted to do things, but it wasn't up until this one moment where I was headed to Jamaica, where I had this luggage literally on the floor. And I literally had to sit at this airport and just literally take out everything, half of my luggage, because my luggage was overweight. And after I did that, I was like, now imagine what you have to take out of you. And I couldn't fully understand the message, because I'm like, wait, like, what is that inner voice in you? But it's your higher self talking to you. And I was like, what? And then throughout that trip, I kept thinking of that, like, drop off your luggage. And like, you're carrying so much. So it was like that journey of me just being at the airport, seeing my luggage being so heavy, and me hearing that voice telling me, this is you. This is all that you're carrying right here. And after Jamaica, I just started, something changed, something snapped in me where I was like, I no longer want to be anxious. I no longer want to have panic attacks. I no longer want to feel what I was feeling before. I no longer want to be who I was before this trip. And that's when like it just all started happening, where I started working out. I started reading books, and not just working on and reading because I had to apply. And then everything just connected for me because of that, or through that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. I'm sitting here listening to you tell your story about having to unpack your bags. And you know what song's going through my head is Bag Lady, you gonna hurt your bag. Erykah Badu. And it's like,
I was like always carrying everything. And you know, sometimes it's hard. I'm not gonna tell you that I'm perfect, that I still don't do it, right. But I catch myself. I was literally carrying all these inner wounds, whatever it is that I was feeling, or whatever I felt as a little girl up until my adulthood. And it was ruining relationships. It was ruining my moments. It was ruining my friendship. Like, it was ruining everything. But I walked around thinking, no, this is okay. This is how we live life, because you surround yourself with people like that who sort of match your energy. And that's all you know. So that's all you see. And that's all you know, that you believe that what you're doing is okay. Up until that moment that I was like, hell no, this is not who I want to be. I can tap into somebody better than myself. So
that part. That part. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. And that's amazing. And you know what? Like you and I think share a lot of similarities other than just seeking personal development and becoming our best selves and, seeking the truth and everything like that. I think you and I, our cultural backgrounds have share a lot of the same similarities in terms of very traditional, right? I'm Filipino and your background is exactly Dominican. And I know, like, I listened to a few of your podcasts where you kind of reference how people would try to put you in this box of like how you're supposed to be, especially as a woman, right? I think there was an episode I remember listening to where people would like make you put you down because of your hair, like your curls, right? Which I think are absolutely amazing, by the way. And I love how you branded that.
Till this day.
Till this day.
Or people would, now that I'm working out, they're like, oh, you're getting too skinny. Or like, let's say even something as simple as a juice cleanse. So just so that I can tell you the mind of, and the influence of other people. The other day I was doing a juice cleanse. Literally for one day, I just wanted to give my body a rest. And my godmom was like, oh, you shouldn't do a juice cleanse because juice cleansing is bad for you. And I was like, but you've literally watched me chug 10 beers in less than an hour, take shots, eat all this fried food.
Didn't say nothing.
And once you tell me to stop. But now that you see me doing this, something positive for myself, now you want to tell me to stop. And it's like, people put limits on you. And once they see you like surpassing that, that's when they'll get on you. And like, or like when they want something that they can't have of yours, whether that's your hair, your looks, your energy, because energy doesn't lie. They'll try to put you down. And that's so sad.
It's so ass backwards, ain't it? It's just like, it don't even make no sense. People will spend 15 to 20 bucks on a shot that's like literally poisoning your liver, and you won't spend 8 to 10 bucks on a juice that's going to strengthen your immune system, that's going to boost your whole lifestyle and help your whole energy and just keep you healthy. Yeah. It's so weird, but it's the programming, right?
Yeah. So it's all about unlearning, and like, but you have to be consciously aware of what you're doing, and you want to, like, you have to get to the point where you're just like tired of yourself, which is the point that I got to, that I'm like, why does it seem so hard? Because culturally I was told no. Like culturally, like I tell people now, like I'm taking a break from drinking. I'm not drinking for 7 months. And they're like, what? They look at me weird. They call me boring. But it's like, because you're programmed to think that drinking is okay for every occasion, that you need that. Or like when I tell somebody I'm working out, let's say 5 times a week, they're like, oh, but that's unhealthy. And it's like, you just have to learn and want to achieve greater for yourself, because if not, people will try to stop you.
I'm going to just applaud you real quick. Yeah. I just got to applaud you real quick. Honestly, because it takes a lot to stand strong when, everything that you've kind of seen around you for so long is coming at you full force, trying to tell you you're going the wrong direction. You're literally going away from the herd because you know where the light is. Yeah. All the other people that are kind of doing that want to kind of keep you at that level are doing that because they're scared to lose you. They think that like, it's like the saying is misery loves company.
Yes.
Right? And I think it's so true, because people want that and they want to associate you as that identity because that's what they know you as and they're comfortable there. But that doesn't mean that you got to stay there. So I'm so happy you made the decision for yourself, because you love yourself, to seek more.
Yeah, of course. And we should all want that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, I think that's a great way to also ask about your podcast, because it's so energetic. It's so filled with love. It's so filled with amazing information and value. I'm curious, like, did that start around that same time you went to Jamaica? Or is that like, or a little later?
No, that literally happens right after I came back from Jamaica. Again, something in me said, start a podcast, because I had started the page where I joined the curls. And what I was doing is I was writing pieces of my journal entries on my post. And a few people kept telling me like, oh, wait, but I want to read more. So I was like, how can I connect more? Because there's so much more that I want to show you. And then something in me said, do a podcast. And that's when it happened.
That's dope. And I'm so glad you did it, because you're literally a natural, especially in these last few. Joe, I got to tell you, you've been on fire for real. Like it just runs so smoothly. You're walking in your truth. You're just spreading so much light. It's amazing.
And then I get to connect with people like you. So yes, I am so lucky, to be honest.
I appreciate it. Yeah, same here. Like the people I've been able to meet on this journey have been incredible. You being one of them. And it's like you're attracting your tribe, right? Where you're around people that want better for themselves, know they can achieve better for themselves, and know what they needed to do. And it's going to take work. It's not only work, it's like the sacrifices, right? Like you sacrificing drinking, me sacrificing drinking. You and I both talked off air before we started recording. You just mentioned that you're quitting drinking for 7 months. I'm actually doing the work and my best to eliminate it completely from my life. So I'm really, really happy for you. So tell me about that. What led to that decision?
So I told myself 7 months, but I feel like eventually as the 7 months start approaching, I'll probably could go longer. I just told myself we have to start now. Mm-hmm. There wasn't I don't know what led me to get there. It's a good question. I guess it's just like seeing all the work that I put in for myself. And then I had to ask myself, is this beneficial? If I ask myself of people around me, of spaces, why don't I ask myself of this toxic thing that I'm doing? There was no benefits to me drinking anymore, because I feel like I went through stages where one, it was okay. I was drinking to drown out my emotions. Then I was drinking socially. Then I was drinking because other people wanted me to drink. And then I'm like, wait, I get home, I have a hangover, or I have to throw up wherever I'm at with 2 drinks because I'm a lightweight. So I'm like, okay, so there's no benefits. I don't need it to, to come here and like be my natural self. So what do I really need alcohol for? And I was like, if I really want to connect with myself and with others, I need to be free from alcohol. So I was like, you know what? Let's just give it up for 7 months. I just threw in a random number. I said 7 months, but so far it's been working. So I don't know. I might continue.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I'm so glad you did that for yourself, because I've also, just like you, just kind of come to the realization that all the work that you're doing, it seems to kind of not necessarily hit a halt, but it gets slowed down when you're kind of putting all these different toxins in your body. You're not helping yourself. You're actually hurting yourself when you're doing that stuff. Like I was doing the same thing. Yeah, I was doing a lot of inner work and doing a lot of the things.
Tell us what made you give up alcohol too.
Oh, great question. Well, I shared with you on your podcast that, I've had a lot of health issues throughout my whole life. Right. And I just, even with the stuff going on with my uncle right now, which I shared with you off air, my uncle's going through some challenging health issues and he just neglected his body. So kind of seeing all of that, kind of paying attention to all the signs, just really, it appealed to me. It just opened my eyes up so much more. And I realized, just like you, doing all that work where you're just like, it feels great. You're making progress, you're advancing, you're elevating, you're ascending. But at the same time, something's like still weighing you down. And for me, it was like wanting to kind of fit in socially and drink and all that stuff, like, because you kind of felt like you needed to. But eventually I started realizing, nah, dude, I'm gonna draw a boundary over here. I'm gonna just make sure that I don't need to drink. I can still kick it. We can still like post up and chill.
Did people call you boring?
I've had folks like, peer pressure me. They'd be like, yeah, come on, bro. What's up with you? Like,
just one, right? No, 1 turns to 5 and then you.
Yeah, exactly. And it, like you kind of just alluded to, it's like, I don't see no point in it anymore. I think when I was drinking, Joe, I was actually reflecting on this the other day when I was writing in my journal. I was just thinking to myself, I think one of the biggest reasons why I was drinking in the first place, because I didn't feel whole. Yeah. I felt like there was some sort of pain in me where that I just had to numb it. And I was seeking validation from other people. And the only way for me to do that was to let my inhibitions down by drinking, taking in these spirits and whatnot. And honestly, just like you were saying, I'll be hungover the next day, spend a bunch of money, you killing yourself. Yeah. It's like for what?
You're spending money to kill your body.
Yeah.
And like, at the moment, yes, it might seem fun, but on the long run, like, is that what you really want? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I feel you heavy on that. I'm just like, you know what? Let's give it up. We have to focus. It's focus time.
And I'm glad for you.
And I think it goes back to what we're talking about. When you are reaching a different level of your life and self and your growth, things start to fall out of place. So what was once comfortable for us, which was alcohol, let's say, you no longer find that no longer makes you feel good. Or with certain people who are vibrating at a lower, energy and space than you. You're like, yeah, that doesn't match with who I am or what I want to do. So you start letting things go, but it's so that connections like this could fall into place. Like, look at you, you're so dope. You match, everything that I'm all about, my podcast. So that's great. It's like once you start connecting to yourself and letting go of these things that are holding you back, I'm telling you, the right people, everything just comes in perfectly.
Absolute facts, no cap. That's real talk. But it's so true because I mean, look, and it's no love lost with anybody that we kind of no longer do those same things. You know what I'm saying? I got love for all my folks, but I got love for myself more.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And when you love yourself more, you can love other people, but you know that they just were meant for you for a certain season in your life. And that's it, and maybe later down the line, you'll connect with them. We'll connect with alcohol. I don't really want to, or with whatever it is that you're giving up. But for the moment, you know it deep in your heart that you have to give it up. And I really do believe that we have to give up certain things in order for the universe to reward us with things.
Yes.
So alcohol had to go. I was like, yeah, you know what? We can let it go.
It's like a trade-off, right? You're going to have to sacrifice these things, but there's going to be so much more abundance and amazing, incredible stuff that the universe is going to give you in your life.
Yes. And I don't know if maybe this has happened to you, but certain people would be like, oh, but you don't have to give up alcohol. You can do this. You can drink this instead. And it's like, no, if I wanted gin and tonic or whatever it is that they offer me, I would have done it. But I'm telling you that I'm not drinking. Or like they'll question me and be like, oh, you're being boring. That's fine. If you don't want to hang out with me because I'm not drinking, or which I don't understand, you need me to drink for you to have fun. I'm like, then that's fine. You can fall out with me. It's okay. Because now we're putting ourselves first. So. Yeah.
And it is what it is, right? Like, I mean, you shouldn't be doing that to yourself just to appease other people, right?
Yeah. Because they don't have the same goals as you. At the end of the day, you know what you want out of life. So how can you let somebody else dictate you? Even if it's just one drink, it's something simple as just one drink. Now you miss your workout. Now you miss, reading that book in the morning or doing whatever it is. Now you're waking up late. Now you have a hangover. Whatever it is that's stopping you. And it doesn't just have to be alcohol. It could literally be people, places, your job, anything that you feel like is putting a weight on your shoulder. You should let it go.
Yeah. And granted, look, I do want to say this, that I've had a lot of fun in my times when I was, turned up for sure. Oh yeah. We was wilding. Like I was wilding for sure. Like that's what folks would associate me as, like that dude that would turn up, have a bunch of fun. But I was usually wasted when I was doing that. And honestly, I was just like, I had a lot of fun. But at the same time, just like you kind of mentioned earlier, you kind of move on from that at a certain point. At least I did, and for me, my goals just got bigger. My vision got larger. And I just knew what I had to do. There was just no way I was going to be able to keep that type of behavior with me as I enter into a new phase in my life.
Yes. You have to pick and choose. You can't have both. Not at the beginning anyways.
Mm-hmm. One of my best friends actually, man, I'm so proud to know this guy. He, he's got like a fairy tale lifestyle. I'm talking about he married his high school sweetheart. They got 2 beautiful baby girls. His business is thriving. He quit drinking completely. Went cold turkey like 2-3 years ago, like when his daughter was first born, because he realized when his daughter was born, he was like, I got to show up as my best self every day. I can't have no drink in my system. And she smells alcohol in my breath. Cause then what you're doing is you passing that trauma along, right? You passing those behaviors along to your kids. And I'm not sure if many people realize that or not, but these kids are paying attention to what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
we take these drugs and alcohol to alter our reality.
Yes.
So it goes back to so you're altering it because you're running away from something. And once you stop running and once you face yourself, you're like, I don't need that anymore. I don't need to numb my pain. I faced it, or I'm facing it. I'm going through this. And you just want to be present. You just want to be your real life self, and that's what matters.
Here's a good question. What would you tell somebody that's like right there at the cusp of like, they've been thinking about switching up their lifestyle, but at the same time they were in a situation like you where like people were telling them like, oh no, you got to drink with us. Come on, like Joe, let's go do this. But that person just knows that there's something more out there for them. What would you tell that person right now?
Is it worth it? And are these people going to be there for you when, let's say, you want to reach that goal, whether that's, let's say, you want to write a book, you want to start a podcast, are they going to support you the same way? Because it's so easy to get support from friends. Oh, come on, let's drink a drink. It's just one drink. But when you start a business, when you start a podcast, when you want to work out, are they there for you? No, they disappear. When you want to cry at 3 a.m. because you're having anxiety and panic attacks, will they be there for you? Are you willing to open up to these people and tell them, hey, I'm going through this? I couldn't count on those people to do, to be there for me the way that I wanted them to be outside of drinking. So I would say, why are you, like, just give up that feeling or those thoughts of like, what are they going to say? They're going to push me away, and focus on you. Because like we just said, once you align to your best self, you attract people who are just the same as you, and that you don't feel like you are giving up on anything.
That's powerful. I like that a lot, because I know there's people out there right now that are right at that line, right? Where it's just like they've known that type of lifestyle for their whole life, but they just feel it in their heart that there's something out there calling them, right? And it's just like, I think it's important. You got to listen to that calling, right? Just like you did.
Because it'll haunt you. So like there were a lot of times, and I know that we keep going back and forth with the alcohol, but like, let's say I would miss a workout. I would regret not going more than what I would have done if I would have went and like just lifted or did whatever it was. That pain of regret was so much deeper than me just getting up. And that's the same with alcohol. Like there was a lot of moments that I missed because I was deeply drunk. And I'm like, damn, like, did I really enjoy this? Damn, did I really listen to this person? Was I really there? Damn, I didn't get up to record an episode because I was out partying. So I don't know. Like, I just feel like you have to, back to what we were saying, you have to give up things. And again, it's not just with alcohol. There are so many bad habits that we carry with ourselves that we have to let go of, that are no longer serving us.
So what was like some of the biggest challenges that you faced when you were kind of making that turn around the corner to kind of change your lifestyle around? What were some of the biggest challenges, aside from the people trying to tell you, oh, you should do this and do that? Like, is there anything else that you feel like you went through that was really difficult for you?
I was having relapses, like in the sense that I would say, okay, I'm going to stop drinking, or I'm going to do this. And it was that pain, because once you start loving yourself, you're like, damn, you let me down again. Like, damn, you disappointed me again. And this is a conversation that I'm having with myself. Like, damn, Joe, you didn't wake up and recorded that episode. Damn, you missed the workout. So the challenge was for me for like, okay, I'm sorry, I let you down, but let's get back up. But it's like, after a while, you just break that trust with yourself. And literally, it's a relationship. Like, I was like, damn, I let myself down so many times. How am I going to come back from this? And then another challenge was like, still being triggered, still dealing with people that were putting me down, that would get me to get to the space where I was trying to walk away from. Because I would take 10 steps forward, but I would let somebody drag me 5 back. So it's like, okay, I'm almost back to square one. So those were my 2 biggest challenges. Me trying to just get that relationship with myself going again. Because again, it's like I had a partner letting me down, but it was just me letting myself down. So trying to get myself to trust myself again. And also trying to like let go and break free from those people who I was surrounding myself with, who were just triggering me or letting me down or just putting me on the wrong path.
Wow, I like the way you put that, honestly, because you're right. Even if you're apologizing to yourself, that apology just gets weaker and weaker the more you kind of miss out on your own commitment to yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And
self-love and self-discipline go hand in hand. And it's like, okay, you keep not showing up for yourself. Like, think about it. Like, I don't have kids, but like, let's say if I had a child and I kept missing, let's say her school or her school recital or whatever it is, they'll become disappointed and they'll carry that. It's the same way with yourself. You keep telling yourself, oh yeah, I'll do it later. Or, okay, I'll start tomorrow. Okay, then you just make that a habit of telling yourself no, or just, I'll do it tomorrow. And you end up really disappointing yourself. But because we don't check in, because we're always running away from ourselves, we don't notice that.
Wow. That is eye-opening. And I think back to moments where I was very much in that situation where I just, I didn't realize that it's important, how important it is to love yourself and how much damage I was doing to myself. Right. And that's like, I'm even thinking about it now. I'm like, damn, I really used to like be a jackass to myself. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
And it's much more than your thoughts too, because with our thoughts, forget about that. That's a whole different world. But like with your actions too, how you don't show up for yourself, but you want other people to show up for you. It's like that list that you were saying, like, okay, you have a list of the perfect person, but do you match half of those? You don't. How can I expect you to show up for me? Which I was doing, like, let's say with a workout. I wanted people to come work out with me because I couldn't commit myself. So you are mad because she or he didn't show up for you for this workout. You missed the workout. But in reality, it was you. You let yourself down. Or like with whatever project it is. I know we keep being specific on working out and alcohol, but it's like with whatever project or business you want to start. You got to put yourself first.
And it requires great sacrifice, right? For sure. And, you know, it really, and then once you get that point of realizing that you have to sacrifice, it really isn't a sacrifice, because what you're doing is just you're giving yourself so much more by letting go of something that you felt might have been serving you for so long, but really it doesn't serve you. It actually hurts you. It actually weighs you down. It keeps you from flying.
People might hear this and think we're crazy, because I used to do that to some of my friends. Like, let's say with eating chicken. I had this one friend who told me she was vegan. That to me was like a whole different world. I was like, what? You gave up chicken? And like, look at me now. Like, I'm on the path of like giving up chicken. Or like, it just always seems impossible until you get it done. It's like, no, like, stop looking at us like we're crazy and like, just try it with whatever it is. Again, it doesn't have to be alcohol. It doesn't have to be, you know,
whatever your vice is, right?
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever that bad habit that you're carrying, whether that's, you know, you ignore people, you let other people mistreat you, you know, it doesn't have to be as specific as what we're talking about, but it could be anything. You not showing up for yourself or for others, whatever bad habit you have. Now,
I know we did a mental health check earlier, but how do you feel overall right now, ever since you've kind of put all these different practices into place for your life? Like, have you been feeling amazing? Because like your energies, you're emanating some amazing energy already. So I want to hear it from you though.
Yeah. So it's been so much different, because when I started putting in the work for myself, these mental illnesses that I used to battle with, which was panic attacks and anxiety, they went away. So I've been like, just, you know, like I feel like I'm walking on a cloud, right? And when you start putting in the work for yourself, you realize that every problem has a solution. And if it doesn't, why are you worrying about it? Or you start looking at things like, damn, that happened for a reason. You know, I was meant to walk this way. I was meant to miss the train. I was meant to like bump into this person and have this conversation. I was meant to meet you. Like, you know how we just connected on Instagram, and look at us now. We 2 episodes in with each other. Like, you just start realizing like everything happens for a reason. We're all connected. So because of the work that I've been doing, like I literally this is literally me almost all the time, like just energetic. And when I'm not, I give myself like 5 minutes to like feel it out, whatever it is, whether that's that I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry. And I'm like, okay, it happened for a reason. What's your lesson? Come on, let's get going. So, yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned that actually in one of the episodes I listened to recently, where you said that, you know, you talk about that a lot, just in terms of making sure you do what's right for yourself to kind of keep that energy high. Right. So let's talk about some of the things that you do for yourself. Do you have like a specific morning routine? You strike me as somebody that would have a specific morning routine.
I'm sorry to let you down.
What you got? What's going on?
So I struggle with becoming a morning person. Like I told you, we did this on my podcast. I'm working on it. There are a few things that I do, but for the most part, like I'm like getting up and like going. But I do work out. I read. I listen to personal development, like Jim Rohn. I've recently been listening to Ed Milet and Mel Robbins. What else do? I spend more time alone. I think that's so needed. Like that's crucial. I write a lot more. So I don't have like a time frame for these things, but as long as they get done throughout the day, then that's what matters.
That's the only thing that matters, really.
Yeah. Drinking a coffee or tea, because it makes me feel like, you know, like I have my life together. So no morning routine, nothing in specific, but I've been trying. So when I do get it, I'm gonna let you know.
So what do? You just get up and just go and just start like whatever needs to be done first, or you feel like
Unless it's so okay. So I get up and I go work out. That's how I start my morning.
Yeah.
Then after I work out, I usually have sometimes to just sit down, read, make myself some breakfast. Or listen to a personal development, one or the other while making breakfast. Then like as I'm on my commute, then like I'll read more or again, continue listening to the audio. Then my day starts. Then when I come back home, I mostly have a nighttime routine then. That's what it is. I don't have a morning when I have a nighttime. When I come back home around 8 p.m., I'll do like a protein shake. I'll drink that as I'm like reading my book. I write gratitude. So I write what I'm grateful for. I write what I want in the near future. I write my goals down. I write whatever I'm feeling. I try to read. I try to listen to more audio, more personal development. I try to get now I've been doing it. I get off Instagram by 9 p.m. And then, just get ready for the next day.
See, that's interesting because I have a morning routine. I don't have a night routine. Mm-hmm. And I know that's why I need to do work on, because you mentioned Instagram. I'll stay on Instagram till like, I'll look up. It's like 10:30, 11. I'm like, damn, man, I should have been asleep already by now. Like,
yes.
You'll put the phone down like an hour before bed so that I can let my brain kind of wind down and stuff like that. So it's funny how like you don't have a morning routine, but you have a night routine, and it's like the opposite for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for you, that's awesome, because I feel like doing that nighttime routine sets you up for the next day.
Yes. And even though I wake up and I'm like rushing to my workout, I still try to get my nighttime and my daytime and my nighttime routine are almost the same. I have to listen to some good audio or podcasts, or I have to read either in the morning or at night. Like it has to get done, and just writing it out, like being gratitude, like write it out, and you see how your night and your morning just flows in. Because what I used to do before, like I would go to bed mad, whatever it was, or like spend my nights just on Instagram. I'm like taking so much in, but it's like, am I pouring just out, releasing it? I'm not. So when you just sit down, write it out or read it out, whatever you do, you start waking up much better, much lighter. So I don't have to do a morning routine per se, because I'm already feeling energized. If that makes sense.
It's because you set yourself up the night before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's awesome. I mean, that's something that I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna start tonight, literally tonight, with my nighttime routine. I'm gonna cut myself off, from using my phone at 9 o'clock, and then just, read a book, journal, do some meditation, and just go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just from what you're telling me right now. And this is stuff that I know too, but like for whatever reason, at nighttime when I'm kind of winding down, I feel like I'm just relaxing. But what you're really doing is letting your mind still at work when you're kind of, consuming all these different things, like whether it be Instagram or something that is stimulating your mind, right?
Or you're watching the news and that's giving you more anxiety, but you don't really realize it. So you wake up cranky, you wake up mad, you wake up ready to fight. Fearful. And once you get your nighttime routine, I promise you the morning will go smoother. So you have to like pick whatever it is. I know a lot of people don't like reading, but maybe listening to an Audible or just listening again, pick podcast or listen to a good personal development person that you like. Like I know Jim Rohn, Les Brown. Find somebody that connects with you. And also like writing it down, whether that's on your phone. I prefer my notebooks. Write what you are grateful for. And it could be something small as like, I'm grateful for my feet for being able to walk. Or I'm grateful for my body for putting through that workout. I'm grateful for this person that I ran into. Tim, I'm grateful for the cup of coffee that I had this morning. And I promise you, just your night to your morning, you'll feel so much better. It's literally life-changing.
Dude, anybody listening to this right now, y'all better be picking up that game. She's dropping some wisdom.
And I'm going to add some extra tip because I love y'all. Go on YouTube. If you have like a tablet, I'm sure you guys do, an extra phone around. Go on YouTube and write HZ frequency music. Literally your subconscious mind does not shut off. So what this music does, it like literally just makes you wake up even better. It repairs your DNA as you're sleeping. It helps you with trauma. It helps you with anxiety, with depression. And literally, you cannot wake up mad. If you wake up mad, then you have a problem.
You literally blowing my mind right now, Joe, because I was finna just tell you the same thing. I'll be doing that like every night.
Yes. And when I don't have it, I'll be like, oh, something went wrong, But when I do play, it's like, oh, you feel like a feather. And again, your nighttime routine matters.
Your body feels so restored, right? It's just like... because it's repairing when you're sleeping. It's like that restorative
Yes,
experience, that
it does.
restorative. Yeah, exactly. So it's like
And that's
having
what
that
it's
play.
meant for. Your
Yeah,
subconscious mind is literally playing. So while you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is up. So you're allowing this music to just flow in. And they have different types. They have like to like heal yourself, heal your wounds, recover from illnesses. Like literally there's frequency for everything. And that just it works.
absolutely. And it's during that time too is when your subconscious mind is the most impressionable, right? When you're
Mhm.
in that theta state, right? Where,
Yeah, because you're
you're
not thinking,
exactly.
not
So
doing anything.
that's crazy how like you and I are so just in sync with each other. Cause I was going to tell you that too, but you beat me to it.
Yeah. No, I discovered that recently and I'm like, huh, so great.
And
Yeah, you
actually,
guys should check it out.
here's something else that you might want to check out too. Is just one of the first things in the morning. I know you listen to positive podcasts or some sort of positive audio, which is great because what you're doing is you're feeding your mind with something that's high frequency, high energetic, high vibrancy, right? One thing that I've been doing every day for the past like month or couple months now is listening to like a affirmation, just a repetitive affirmation, whether it be
Okay.
like an I am affirmation, and you just sit there when your mind is the most impressionable and you're saying it along with it. You can even have your eyes closed, and then what you're doing is you're stamping that into your brain, so that way you're just like building yourself even more.
Yes. I don't try that, but I'm going to.
I mean, you're confident as hell already, but I'm talking about your confidence is gonna reach like a new level for real. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yes.
So,
There's always room for growth.
absolutely 100. No matter how good you're doing, you could always be doing better.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it, right? Like that's the exciting part, right?
So what's one affirmation that you tell you that you're mostly on repeat for you?
A good one is, well, I love myself for sure. I forgive myself.
Yes.
Um, hmm, I'm confident.
Yes.
Um, I'm capable. I'm deserving, right? All these
Yes.
different things.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, all these different things that I even write it in my journal sometimes too, because what it does is it just makes it stronger, right? Yeah, you could think it, but when you write it out on paper,
Yes.
it's like you're making it real.
And you start believing it more.
Mm-hmm. And you should believe it too, because it's absolute truth. It's the absolute truth. We all have genius level talent with us, right? Within us, and we're all godlike, beings. We're
Yeah.
it's that's why I'm saying, like, when I think about potential, it literally is limitless.
You hear that music?
Yeah, I hear it.
Okay.
That is dope. What time is it
Yes,
on
so
your
that's how
side?
it's 8. It's about to be 8 p.m.
Okay, 8 p.m. on a Friday night. Yeah, it's rocking out there for sure.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta get my ass back out to New York. I love that town, but the last time I was there was 2014. And how
Okay.
how has it changed since the pandemic?
I feel like we're a walking mental health outpatient clinic. It's bad. It's really bad. That's what
Oh,
I'm saying. You have to focus on yourself because if not, you'll get anxious, you'll get depressed, it just is it's a lot going on. Like we're not doing that great right now.
do you see yourself living there for like
No, I don't. Like it doesn't match my energy anymore. Before I used to be like, it's such a great city, but now I'm like, the person who I want to become cannot reach its full potential unless I'm out because I need the quiet. Like you just hear the music that's nonstop. I'm surprised we even got this far along with, because it's nonstop.
well, I'm not surprised because the universe is making this happen, right? Like finally
Yes,
stars aligned for us to finally be here and
yes.
make this happen. You know what I'm saying? Because for those that don't know, we have been trying to make this work for a long time. Both of our schedules were conflicted and there was just a lot of stuff going on. But we knew it was going to happen at some point.
Yeah,
That's why I was never rushing anything. I just knew at some point it was going to happen.
of course. And look at it now.
I
So
mean,
great.
look at what we doing now. Look at us now. Come on now. But
Yes.
where do you see yourself moving to? Like if you had to pick a place?
Right now, I would do Jersey just because it's right next door. But in the future, I would hope to live on an island.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what? That actually sounds very similar to what I first did when I first moved away from San Francisco. I lived in LA, which because it was like it was not too far from San Francisco, I could still kind of see my family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you strike me as a very family oriented person yourself. So
Yeah.
which is something that I also have in common with you because I mean my family is my rib, that's my heart
Of
for real.
course. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like you want to explore your deepest potential, right? So you
Yeah.
want to kind of put yourself in different environments, see how you
Of
fare
course.
out, right? So Jersey, how far is Jersey from New York?
It's about 40 minutes, 20 to
Okay.
40 minutes, depending on where you want to live.
I
But it's
think I saw
literally
you
like a bridge. Literally, all you have to do is cross a bridge.
I saw you post like a reel. Was that in Jersey or Philly or something like that?
That was Philly. Philly
how
was
far?
2 hours away from me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That looked dope.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. See, there's so much out there.
I know. So what brought you out to Philly just to go check it out? Like, cause it's
Yeah, just to get away from New York for a bit.
yeah. Cause you
Because
kind of
I told myself I am not traveling until I didn't lose weight. I lost the weight, but now I have to wait until the trip comes up, which is happening soon in September. But until then, I'm like, let me just go and be adventurous.
hey, where you
My
going?
soul, I'm going to Guatemala.
Ooh.
Yeah, another calling.
Have you been out there before?
No, I've never been there before.
Dang. You going solo again?
No, this time I went with my friends.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm excited to see the difference. But once you start doing things alone, it gets hard to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going on a trip with my friends.
Yeah, I've taken a few solo trips myself where it's just like, and I've also taken trips with friends, which has been amazing too. But you got to be careful who you travel with, right? I feel like, yeah, because I've also been on some trips with some folks that I'm just like, damn, bro, like
And
I
never
kind of,
again. You said what? That's it, one and done.
yeah, I'm like, nah, I ain't doing this again. I ain't putting myself in this situation again, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's cool though. Like, what are you excited most about checking out in Guatemala?
So it's been another calling. So I know I am anticipating what I'm going to feel like, which is weird. Like I already envisioned myself.
What's that mean?
Like with Thailand, it was just a feeling like this is how you're going to feel in Thailand. So I have that feeling of this is how I'm going to feel in Guatemala. If that makes any sense. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just excited to explore, to be more connected. And it just looks like a dope country. I know that it has its spiritual side too. So I'm looking forward to that. And just like, just being in nature, being grounded.
Yeah, and I think I know the feeling. Just like on any trip, right? You're about to take almost, right? But specifically for ones where you're just like you've never been to this place, you just don't. There's really no expectations. You're like expecting unexpected, right? And you just know the experience is going to offer so much, right? Lessons, all sorts of different memories that you're going to be creating with like the people you're around, or whether it be by yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm
excited for that. I'll let you know all about it once I get back.
Oh, I'm sure. So, I mean, now I'm curious because I mentioned to you that I'm trying to build. Well, I'm already kind of working on it, building my lifestyle surrounding travel. So I'm curious, what is like your favorite place that you've been to?
My favorite place that I've been to.
Because you've been to a lot. I saw in your profile, you said 20 countries, right?
22, yeah.
22. Oh, excuse me.
My favorite place. Ooh. I think you should check out Hawaii. Well, Hawaii. I think you should check out Thailand because you're in Hawaii. Thailand is just a must. But if you can't do Thailand, I would do Israel.
Whoa. You went to Israel?
Yes. Oh, life-changing too. The Dead Sea. It's incredible. If you ever go, don't make the mistake that I did. I jumped headfirst into the Dead Sea and they had to carry me out because I couldn't see.
Oh, crap.
It was the saltiest water. So like literally salt got in my eyes.
So you're not supposed to dip your head?
No, because you float. So you don't even swim, you just float. So I went head first. I got too excited and yeah, I would do Israel. Israel's life-changing because that's when you start realizing like people will try to stop you from going places. People will put fear in your heart. The media will put fear in your heart. And it's like once you get to a place like Israel, or any place, because almost every place is dangerous. You realize, again, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere. So yeah, Israel was the life
And
changing one.
it's all about wherever you go. If you got love in your heart and you're
Yeah.
kind of operating from a place of
You
love and
attract that.
right and respect, like, but if you look like a sketchy ass person, or that just like looks like a straight up tourist that, like, you know what I'm saying, that's just begging for attention, then you're going to attract that too. You know what I'm saying? But if you going out there with an open mind, trying to be respectful of the land, understand the culture,
Of
right?
course.
Come
You
on.
really attract all that negativity, which is why you only see negative things happen to negative people. I mean, bad things happen to all of us, but it's how we handle it. So you look at a negative person, you're like, you're negative because of how you handle situations.
Mm-hmm. And you said it multiple times where it's just like you are what you attract, right? Like the energy you put out is what you kind of you're gonna
Of
get.
course. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if like you said, if you negative, guess what's gonna come back to you?
Yep.
Negativity.
Of course.
So if you don't change that, and you kind of looking at the results, like, what do I need to do? Like, dude, take a look in the mirror and just kind of make that change within yourself.
Of course. I agree with that.
Man, Joe, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, for real, like, this conversation has been so cool. Like, I feel like I talk to you for days.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But I know I don't want to take too much of your time. And, I'm actually out here in Hawaii too. So my ass wants to get out and do some shit.
As you should.
Yeah. Have you been out here, by the way?
No, never been there.
Man, just tap in when you decide to come over here. Okay.
Yes.
It's amazing out here. I've been having like the time of my life. You asked me, prior to recording what I was kind of like, what was the highlight of it so far? And I told you was here, just kind of being able to provide support for my uncle. But aside from that, it's really just being able to do something new every single day.
Of course. Yeah.
Whether that be trying a new food, going out to a new beach, checking out a new hike.
For you to be adventurous.
Yeah. You a hiker by any chance?
You should go to Thailand.
Oh, I know, dude. Your reel, or like your reels that you posted, made that place look so amazing. They should pay you for promoting Thailand, for real.
It is. It's so beautiful. You should really check it out.
That water's like hypnotic.
Yes. The place, like, you just feel like you're in a movie. Like, you just question everything. Like, can this place really exist? Because I'm here. But you should go to Thailand.
So I'm curious, before we wrap things up, because I just want to know for myself, because that's definitely on my bucket list place to go check out. Because the food that you put, the food that you tried, the beaches you went to, I saw that you were like in a tiger's cage and you was messing with the elephants. Like,
yes,
yo, let me give you a moment to just talk about that experience, because I'm listening.
So at first I was going to miss out on it because I went with no plans. Literally, I said, God, take me wherever you want to take me, which is the best thing about traveling solo, because you're on your own time. If you want to be at one bar for 6 hours, just meeting people, playing pool like I was doing, you can do that. But if you just want to sleep, you do that too. So I was literally going with the flow. So I didn't do any research. And then, like, again, because it was meant for me to experience that, God put people in my life in Thailand who directed me and told me, no, let me take you here. Let's do this. And it was just the elephants. I was going to really miss out on it until some girl dragged me to see them. And wow, like, it was just out of this world, really. Just, that's what you have, like how you were saying, go with an open mind. Go with wanting to try things. Don't just like look at something and be like, I'm not trying that. Obviously, I didn't try the bugs. That's one thing I didn't try. But other than that, I was really open-minded to like everything, to trying so much. And it was by far the best experience. So again, please, you guys have to check out Thailand.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was that experience like with the tiger? That looked crazy. That looked a little too much for me.
Jokes about it. They were like, oh, he hasn't ate today. I'm like, oh, but it was so cool because you're like, I'm in here. I'm doing this. Like, this is so dope. This is so powerful. So I felt amazing. I would do it all over again.
Oh my God. You like totally stepped up to the plate and faced whatever fear or
I was touching the tigers, the elephants, everything, the pigs, literally everything.
That's crazy. And that's amazing too. And at the same time, it's not surprising because you have such a peaceful and high vibrant spirit about you that animals don't feel threatened around energy like that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you've noticed this within yourself, like when you go to the parks and stuff like that, or whatever you do where you're kind of in nature, do you notice like animals feel safe in your presence?
Yeah. I'm the one that's scared. I'm like, "Oh."
Right. I'm usually the one that's scared, but then I have to realize, like, I'm like, yo, center myself, calm myself down, and then they're not gonna attack you if you're not a
It's like
threat.
how, yes, because it's like how we're saying the energy that you give out, it's what you'll get. So like because we have this calming, this, this energetic energy to us, we attract that. So that's literally who I was attracting, not just in animals, but in people too. Like people like myself who would be like, come on, let's explore, let's go do this. And I'll be like, okay, sure, let's go.
Mm, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
So
amazing.
definitely wherever you go with an open mind. You don't have to go as wild to the other side, like Thailand, like I did, but wherever you go, literally be there, mingle with people, literally get to know people, get to know the culture that you're in. Don't just try to do touristy things because that's what all you want to do. Like, no, the best things that have happened to me have been like in the trenches, like where I'm like, okay, no, you take me where you eat at. Don't take me, where Google tells me is the best restaurant or whatever it is.
That's dope. I'm gonna keep that in mind, even out here, to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of keeping an open mind. And I have met some real cool folks, just kind of putting myself out
Yeah.
there, just like you've been doing. And it's been dope. So I absolutely agree with that advice. So cool. Right on for that. Joe,
Yes.
this has been such an amazing conversation. Before I get into these rapid fire questions, this is a fun segment that I love doing. I want to
Yes, I'm
ask,
excited.
I want to ask you, is there anything that you kind of want to plug or you want to talk about before we get up out of here?
I just want people to know that your current mindset is not where you'll always be at. It's so important to put in the work for yourself because nobody will do it for you. Yes, people can inspire you, but nobody's going to come in and drag you to the gym, open that book and make you read it. You have to be willing to put in the work for yourself. And once you start putting in the work for yourself, the life, just world, everything around you just gets so much better. Like I can guarantee you, you can win that battle with your thoughts because you are much greater than that. And what you accomplish once you get to the other side of that battle is beyond anything that I can even tell you about because you just have to experience it for yourself. But you are the strongest soldier. So win that fight against your mind and you'll be set.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Joe. Appreciate you. And yeah, everybody got to go check out her podcast. She brings so much heat on that podcast for
Thank
real.
you.
And I'm just so happy for you. I wish you nothing but continued success, health, love, happiness, peace, joy, all
Thank you.
that.
One day we'll do this in person.
100%. That we
Yes.
already put that out into the universe for sure.
Yes.
So let's get into these rapid fire questions.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yeah. So okay. So let's stay on the theme of travel here. If you
Okay.
could pick one place that you want to go to right now, if you could just like book a trip for free, where would you go?
Egypt.
Ooh, that's a dope one.
Egypt.
Check out the pyramids and shit.
Yes. Yes. The history. But I feel like I need to be a little bit more mature for the Egypt one. That's why I've been
Ooh.
waiting. But Egypt, Turkey, and Greece all together. Bang.
Aha. Hey, Greece is up there for me for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about Egypt. You actually inspired me not only to go check out Israel, but definitely Egypt. Egypt is somewhere I definitely want to check out for sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I like that. Great answer. Um, what's the best dish you've ever eaten, or like your favorite food?
The best dish I've ever eaten. Damn. Is that I eat a lot of food.
Well, all that traveling too, right? So
Yes. My favorite thing to eat is sushi.
okay.
Me a sushi. So I've had really good sushi worldwide in Israel and Thailand,
What?
here at home. Yes. Yeah.
Israel got sushi?
Yes. I went to the sushi restaurant and it was so good.
For real?
Yes. I
Did
know.
they have any like different types of fish out there that they kind of turn into sushi?
They did, but I can't remember. It was too long ago. But I know that it was really good. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, bet. I like that too. Okay. How about this one? Biggest lesson that you've recently learned?
don't feel bad for cutting off people or things. I try to play. Okay, I was gonna curse. Let me take that back. I try to save the world, right? So before I would cut off people too quick, and I'll be like, okay, why is it that I cut off people too quick? And it was because I had abandonment wounds, right? But then I'm like, no, like some people, no matter what you tell them, no matter how you try to get them on a better lifestyle, they just don't deserve your energy. And that's okay. Like they were meant to just teach you whatever they taught you, just be with you, walk with you to a certain point of your life. After that, it's time to let go, and letting go is hard, but you'll realize your life gets better after you cut off certain people. So that's the hard one that I've learned, but it served me really well.
Mm-hmm. And then that time when, you're struggling with letting go. Yes, it's difficult, but once you get past that barrier, you do start to realize that life is so much more amazing after that.
Yeah.
Because you attract like amazing, amazing stuff, right?
Because it's all connected. That's why we keep going back to the same.
Literally, it's crazy. All right, cool. I love that one. And what's the best advice you've ever been given?
The most recent one. Don't just read the books, but apply it. That was a harsh one, especially because at the time my ego wanted it to just be defensive and my ego wanted to fight. But then I was like, this person is coming from a place of love. This person is telling you what you need to hear. And it's like, yes, I can tell you here, read the books. I can tell you, read the podcast. I can give you all my resources. But if you don't apply it, it just won't make sense to you. And yeah, you're just reading, but you're not going after your dreams. You're not waking up and being motivated. You're not helping others. You're still waking up trying to fight the world. So that was one that I really recently wrapped myself around. And I'm so glad that person told me. Although at the time I kind of laughed, but I wanted to curse that person out. But then I'm like, you know what? You're right. It's true. Don't just read and don't just listen to things without applying them.
That's a powerful one, because knowledge is only power if it's applied, right?
Yes. And shared too.
Yes. And that's something that I've been it actually hits me in a different way, because I've read a ton of books, right? And you were right. Like it was a lot of ego where it was just like, oh, I read a lot of books. I want to say that I've read a lot of books, right? Yeah. Like I wanted to read 100 books this year, right? And I wanted to be able to say that, oh, I read this book, and show people I read this book. But it's like, are you actually absorbing whatever it's like teaching you? So I've made it a point to, especially if it's a really good book, I've made it a point to read it twice or 3 times.
And take notes.
Yes. Highlight, do what you got to do. By the way, how do you read? Do you read physical books, or you got a Kindle?
Physical books. Like I have to smell it. I have to be able to throw it. I have to be able to carry it. I have a Kindle with me, but I prefer my books. Paperback is the way to go.
I hear you. I absolutely.
What's the last book you read?
Well, I'm currently reading, and I've read it already like 4 times. And it's just a very short book, but it's what's it called? I always forget the title of this damn book. Where is it? It's As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Why I always forget the name of that.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's like 30 pages, but it's just powerful stuff in there.
Okay.
Which is why I feel like I just have to absorb it. I'll read like a chapter and just absorb it. And sometimes I'll stay with a sentence there where I'm just like, I need to. Yeah,
this was powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and probably before that, I read the last book I read before that was Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. Great book. Amazing book.
Yeah.
I read Nipsey Hussle's biography, which was amazing. It's a hard read because, you just kind of get that lifestyle of the street life and this stuff like that. Yeah. But Nipsey's one of my biggest inspirations, in terms of, his message that he left and a lot of the game that he left. So, but yeah, how about you? What you reading right now? I know you mentioned Ed Milet.
Yes. Funny that you mentioned that. That's the one that I'm about to finish. The Power of One More.
I love that.
By Ed Milet. But if you're starting on your journey, I would suggest you read How to Do the Work. How to Do the Work was really, really good. It's an orange book by Nicole something. I forgot her last name, but She talks about your inner child. She talks about your subconscious mind. She talks about a lot of great things that you need to know all in one. But Ed Milet is pretty good too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I be using his power of one more. Every time I'll be doing my push-ups, I'm like, come on, one
So I
more.
bet a girl do one more. If only you could see that, I'll be like, one more push. And in the field of advice that you were asked me, I was wow, I can't even talk. This is how excited I am to tell you about this. I recently heard one of his episodes where he brought in some guy who went to prison, and he tells people like, change the water, don't let the water change you, which just means like, oh, don't let people come in and change your energy. Don't try to match people's energy. Try to be better. Try to change the room, you know? So yeah.
I love that. You actually created a whole podcast episode about that, which I listened to, by the way, and it was amazing because I kind of thought back about a scenario where recently I was at a job in San Francisco doing what I was doing. And, you know, there was one day where I was just saying hi to everybody. Right. And then I noticed that some people were just like, you know, mugging me. They wouldn't say nothing back, whatever the case may be. And then I let that change me. I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna say good morning to these folks.
You're like, F them, right?
Yeah, I was like, forget y'all then. I'm gonna just do my thing, like whatever. I'm gonna mug you right back. But then I was like, nah, bro, we don't return energy here. We rise above that. So what I started doing was, no matter, even if they look mad, I say good morning, have a great day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then what would happen is people would just notice that vibrant energy. They'll stop and say, what's up? Have good conversations. And then right there in those interactions, you have opportunities to help people.
Yes.
And connect with them. Right. And for me, like I built, because I was working at a stadium where we would have to, you know, deal with hundreds upon hundreds of people. And, you know, it's kind of exhausting when you're doing that with like large bodies of people like that.
And you're picking up so much energy too.
Yeah. But when you make that decision, just like you did, to just, no matter what, you're not going to change for nobody. Like you're only going to change when you want to change and how you want to change, and you want to put positivity and love into the environment, then you can actually make like the strongest impact there, because you're really connecting with people.
Yes, I agree. I love that. So again, don't try to match people's energy. But again, it's hard because, you know, that ego is really powerful, but your mind is the same way. So I've learned that, like, no, I'm going to show up. And if today I want to say good morning, I'll say it, but I'm not going to let you be the reason why I don't say good morning, or I won't let you be the reason why I have a shitty day. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that ego definitely is powerful, and it's sensitive as all hell too. It's like, you know, it don't like it when you don't get what you want, you know, when it doesn't get what it wants.
Of course. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like having to kind of silence that and let the love shine through, right? Let that higher self that you mentioned earlier be at the forefront of everything you do. Because when you do that, that's when you unlock all your blessings, right, Joe?
Of course. Yeah.
So I feel you on that. So last question here. We've mentioned several different mentors, whether that be Mel Robbins, who I love, whether that be Jim Rohn, who I absolutely adore.
Yes, I love his voice.
And and he always makes it so fun, right? Like he'll say funny. Something and be funny with it too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I wish he was alive.
Yeah, exactly. I know, but he left us so much, right? So with that being said, who's your favorite mentor that you've been gravitating towards the most?
I would say Jim Rohn. I would definitely say Jim Rohn. His audio was like that wake-up call that I needed, you know, along with, you know, people whose books I've read. But Jim Rohn, when you're listening, when you're tapping into him, there's just something so powerful about his words, and just the way he says it. It's funny, and it's like it's real life shit. Like, yeah, nothing changes if nothing changes. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be here still 5 years from now in the same place? No, you don't want to be there. So he's just amazing. I love him. Like, I really like how you say he didn't really die, because he's still leaving so much impact.
Absolutely. And you know what? He's other people's favorite mentor. Like he mentored Tony Robbins, everybody who's everybody in that space of personal development and growth and just becoming your best self. They all know who
Yes.
Jim Rohn is.
That's who we're gonna be. We're gonna be the Jim Rohns of our era.
100%. He planted the
Yes.
seed in our mind, right? He helped us
Yes.
unlock what's within us, and it's
Yes.
up to us to do the heavy lifting and do the work. And when you're kind of doing that from within yourself and letting that light shine, oh my God, the blessings are just going to continuously
Yes.
pour. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And like he says, you're not a tree. You can get up at any given moment and change. So if something's bothering you, get up and change it. There's nothing that's permanent unless it's death. So
I love that guy. That guy's
yeah, me too.
he's left us so many gifts.
Yeah, really did.
Awesome, Joe. Well, that was the last of the rapid fire questions. I've had a fantastic time having
Me
you on the
too.
podcast. You brought so much great energy, great knowledge, wisdom. And I think anybody that listens to this is only going to become better for it.
Yes. No, thank you for having me. I love this. I seriously did. I had such a great time. And like I said, one of our episodes is going to be in person. Watch.
Absolutely.
I'm speaking it into existence.
Either in Hawaii or another island.
I would say Hawaii. Like don't come to New York. This shit is trash. Yes.
That's hella funny for sure. No, we'll definitely make that happen. And I'm just very appreciative of you for making the time and, you know, and being here, because you dropped a lot of gems, and you're welcome on any time, Joe.
No, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
And it's always great to connect with you. Seriously, since we have almost the same mindset frame is amazing.
I know, absolutely.
And we attract when you start doing the work, people who match what you want.
100%. And we'll stay connected, like, you know, we will. And I'm definitely rooting for you on my side, whatever you're doing. And if you need anything from me, just make sure you tap in. You know, I'm always there. So yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And to all those that made it to the end of this podcast, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope y'all picked up one of the many gems that Joe and I dropped. This was a fun one. Big love to all y'all. Stay up and stay blessed.
Until next time.
Yeah. Peace.
Thank you.
Yeah.